Today, Paris looks like a romantic postcard come to life. Millions of tourists flock here every year for the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and the cozy cafes lining the narrow streets. However, behind this elegant facade of the world's capital of fashion and art lies a completely different story. For centuries, this city was torn apart by internal conflicts, and its streets regularly turned into an arena of violent clashes. The authorities here always viewed their own people with suspicion, as any spark of discontent could escalate into a destructive riot. Each historical era brought new upheavals to the banks of the Seine, which literally reshaped the capital's appearance. It is commonly believed that true greatness is born in conditions of stability. But the example of Paris proves the opposite. Its unique strength and capacity for development have always been rooted in its ability to overcome its own internal catastrophes. In this video, we will trace a journey spanning 2,000 years, from a tiny settlement of Celtic tribes to a modern metropolis that remains rife with sharp social contradictions. We will examine the historical mechanism in which the ambitions of rulers, the despair of the poor, and the boldness of new philosophical ideas constantly clashed. And to understand how this rebellious character was formed, we need to go back to the very beginning. In the 3rd century BCE, the Celtic tribe of the Parisii founded a modest wooden settlement. They named it Lutetia, which literally meant marshy place. The choice of location was no accident. The Parisii occupied a small island that allowed them to control the most convenient crossing over the wide Seine River. Whoever held this waterway automatically gained control over lucrative trade routes and the movement of people. The Romans quickly recognized the strategic value of this marshy island. Soon they captured the settlement and began rebuilding it according to their imperial standards. Lutetia was transformed into a classic Roman city with perfectly straight streets. On the left bank, a massive stone amphitheatre was built, capable of holding about 15,000 spectators. Luxurious thermal baths, forums, and paved roads appeared, securely connecting this river port to the rest of the empire. The remains of this ancient grandeur are still hidden deep beneath the foundations of modern Paris. But the ancient idyll could not last forever. By the end of the 3rd century CE, the Roman Empire began to rapidly decline. Barbarian tribes breached the northern borders, and Lutetia's security collapsed. In a panic, the locals abandoned their beautiful stone neighborhoods along the banks and retreated back to the Ile de la Cité. To survive, they dismantled the old Roman temples and used their stones to build a massive defensive wall. It was the logic of a fortress defense that defined the city's architecture for centuries to come. During this troubled time, the Parisians found a spiritual anchor. In the 5th century, when the city was threatened by an invasion of the ferocious Huns, a young Christian woman named Genevieve convinced the residents not to abandon their homes and to unite in prayer. Genevieve enjoyed immense authority among the townspeople, and when the Huns ultimately bypassed the city, she became the patron saint of Paris, establishing a powerful tradition of faith.